In this video, and possibly a couple more, I'm going to go through some of the programs we've had and try to show you how I would solve them. Okay, so I will say I've already done these programs, but I'm going to do them again and kind of go through the thought process that you should be going through. I think one of the big issues some of you are facing is that you're not taking the time to sufficiently plan out your code. This, as you know, as programs get more complicated, as we're adding in things like pass by reference, um, and it just gets more complicated, and you have to have a game plan. So ideally, that game plan would be on a piece of paper, but you can also do it within the code somewhat. Okay. So I'm going to start. This video is going to be about the chapter 6 homework, which was on the coffee shop. Okay. So the first thing, since I have created a directory with a menu program, there's no reason to recreate that. Okay, so I'm going to copy from CSC 1180 slash menu dot cpp, and then just going to call it that. And well, in fact, I could go ahead and rename it as part of this process if you wanted to. Okay, so now I just called it coffee shop. Okay, so if I look at this, okay, so you don't want any of this stuff. You would want a better description for sure of this one. I'm just going to say coffee shop. Okay. So we're going to keep the clear screen. We're going to keep that. We're going to have our menu function. Okay. Um, so in this case, we're going to have, let's see what we need. We need 6 menu items because that's the one I based this on. So that's going to be okay. Okay. Then our switch is going to come down to this. Okay. And we're not going to get that yet because we're not going to mess with that yet. Okay. That should take care of that. That's going to take the number of menu items. That's why that's there. And we can fix all that. Okay, so let's talk about this program in general and what it's supposed to do and what we need. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and go and int main and just make a little block here that I may or may not keep. Okay, it's just the idea that I'm going to be planning out things. Okay, so when you're looking at a program, you have to figure out what variables we're going to need or what does the program have to keep track of. Okay. So if you look through the description of this one, we need to know the total number of small coffees sold. So we need the total number of small, medium, and large coffees sold. Okay. So we're going to need variables for that. Okay. Those variables can be integers. So we can just say we're going to have an int. I'm just call it S, M, and L. You can call it something else. L is kind of an ugly thing, but anyway. In fact, I would go ahead, since we've had trouble with this, I would initialize that as well, but I'm not. I'm just getting a list here. S, M, and L. So the program has to know how many, um, how much has been sold. Okay. So we need to keep track of that. So the sell coffee is going to ask the user for how much they want for this order. So we need for each order how many small, medium, and large coffees. Okay. And then we also need the price of each size. Okay. And each order is going to be the sell coffee function. So it's going to need that, right? Um, and then it'll calculate a total. Okay. Um, it's going to print out an order form of some sort. Okay. And it also has to update the total number of small, medium, and larges sold. Okay. So nowhere is the price going to be updated. Okay. And then we've got another option here. Okay. So sell coffee is the first one. There's another function here for the total coffee sold by size. Okay. So for this one, for our total sold by size, all we need, so we just need S, M, and L, right? We just need to pass those, the total numbers there. Okay. A small, medium, largest. We can get total and print summary. Okay. Straightforward enough on that one. And then we're going to get total coffee sold in ounces, which is a weird thing. So for total sold by ounces, we're going to need those total small, medium, and large, and the size of each. Okay. Again, we're going to calculate total print. Okay. The last one is going to be the money made. We're again going to need how many smalls, how many medium, how many larges that we've sold the whole time we've been running the program. Okay. And the cost or the price of each. And we'll again calculate total and print. Okay. So if we turn this into variables and where they're located at, okay, and this problem in particular wants us to do pass by reference. So the main data for this program is the numbers of smalls, mediums, and larges. Okay. So we would consider making that a global variable, but it's told us not to. Okay. So we're going to have to pass that around to the functions. That's the point of this. Okay. It didn't specifically say not to do global constants. Okay. So the small, medium, and larges are going to be changed in sell coffee. Okay. And used by the other functions. Okay. The price of the coffee never changes. The size of the coffee never changes. Okay. So we could go ahead and make those as global constants. Okay. So to kind of put that, our variable list here, okay, we're going to have an int s equals 0, or we could do something, let's do total s, okay, is equal to 0. Okay. I'm going to put a note that it is modified in sell coffee, used in others. Okay. And I'm going to go ahead and copy that down because that's going to be all this for the same of these. So my total M and my total L. Okay. So we need that. Okay. We're going to need an order small, order medium, order large, but those aren't in this function. No, they're never accessible from main, so I don't have to worry about them yet. Okay. I'm again going to need the prices and I'm going to need the sizes. Okay. I'm going to make those global. If not, we could add them as variables here and then go ahead and just pass them in. But I think to make it a little bit cleaner. And it's certainly not wrong either way you do that. Okay. So again, the global area is up here before any of our functions. Okay. Global constants, let's say. Okay. So for those, let me look up those values where they're at. I've got them somewhere. Okay, so we're going to have for the costs. Okay. So I'm going to have where I can see everything I'm trying to type at the same time. Okay, we're going to have constant double for S cost. It's a small cost. Remember with a constant, you have to set a value when you create it, 1.75. Okay. I'm going to have a constant double M cost is going to equal to 1.90. I don't really need the zero, but hey, we're going to make it look good. Double L cost is going to equal 2.00. I need one of those zeros probably, but not both. Okay. And let's go ahead and say this is going to be the size of each coffee cup. Okay. And then we're going to have another section here for the price of each coffee size. No, this is the price. This is the size. So these coffee cup in ounces. Okay. So I'm going to call this again constant, not an and whatever that was, constant double for S size is going to be equal to 9 in ounces. You have a constant double M size is going to equal to 12. And we're going to have a constant double L size is going to equal to 15. Okay. So I now have all the data that's going to be available either as a constant, a global constant, or in int main. Okay. Because that should be able to produce our reports. Okay. So now I can start thinking about what is my function prototype going to be for the sell coffee. Okay. So sell coffee again, when you pop it up, you're going to ask the user how many smalls, how many mediums, how many larges. You're going to take that, give it a cost, a total cost for the order, and then you're going to update the globals for those sizes. Okay, so that's kind of the basic idea there. Okay, and what I'm skipping at this point is the first one's just some C outs. Okay, the idea of that we're gonna have a function that's information. Okay, I'm less concerned about that for me especially, but even when you're doing your homework, put a little effort into it, but I'm not going to grade that particularly harshly unless it's really, really poor. Okay. So since I have three things I have to return, okay. So before I put a return type, I'm just going to say over here what I'm doing. I'm in the wrong spot, the wrong window. I hate when that happens. Okay. So let me find myself again to make sure I don't lose my way. It's bad to lose your way. Okay, so again, before I do what kind of type I'm going to have, I'm going to do my sell coffee, okay, and figure out what it needs to do. So it needs to, I'm just going to make a note here before I get this. I'm going to say sell coffee needs to get local order and update totals. Okay. So there's three things that I want to be able to access, but also update. So those are passed by reference. Okay. It doesn't need to return anything. Okay. If there were only one thing we had to update, we could just pass it in and out, but we can't do that. So this is going to be a void function. Okay. So what we need to have to update, again, we're not going to use it because we're creating our own smalls, mediums, and larges. We're just going to go ahead and have an int for whatever we called it, um, total S. Okay. And that to pass by reference on the total S. We're going to pass in by reference the total M, and we're going to pass in by reference the total L. Okay. We're going to need the cost, but we're getting that as a constant, so we don't need to worry about that. I don't think there's anything else that we need there. So I think that's going to work. Okay. If we want to plan out the other ones, we can go ahead and do that. Okay. So the other options were that we needed to get the another void function. These are going to be print functions basically. We're going to get this, let's see, what are those called? Total by size. Okay, so do coffee sold size, we could call it. Doesn't matter what you call it. Okay. Um, and it's going to need, again, the same thing. In fact, I can copy this over. I think everything's going to need those to some degree, right? Okay, so we're going to need here coffee sold by cup. Okay. And we're going to get coffee sold in ounces. Okay. And those need, but don't update any of those. Okay. There's no reason to give the possibility of that. So I'm going to go ahead and get rid of those. That should be all those need. Okay. And if you've chosen not to implement these global constants, then sell coffee would also need the small price, the medium price, the large price. The soft coffee sold by cup wouldn't need anything. The coffee sold in ounces would need, in addition to the total S, total M, total L, would need the size of each of those if you're not using global variables. Okay. And then finally, I think we can copy that again to get the money made. It will take all those and it's going to need the price, but it's going to be able to get that. Okay. So that should be all we need there. Okay. So that should give us an idea of where we're headed. And then when I create new functions, I like to go ahead, copy it from my prototype, Control V does a page down in essence, go down to the end here, yank it back in, get rid of the semicolon, go ahead, and this has no return, so we don't have to worry about that. Okay. So in this sell coffee, okay, it's a function. So what's this function going to do? So this should we should be in the habit, which we haven't talked about much, what it should be. What does it does? Okay. What does this function do? Okay. It's going to ask user for order, basically how many smalls, how many medium, how many larges, and print out a ticket, basically. Okay. And it's going to update totals for small, medium. Okay. So that's the basic idea. Okay. If we think of preconditions and postconditions, preconditions are that we know how many cups of coffee have been sold. The postconditions are that we've increased those totals sold by whatever this order is. Okay. So I'm going to start this one off just with a C out. Um, Sell coffee. Not going to be very creative at this point. You can always make it better later. I'm going to go ahead and put in a couple of end lines just to give us some space. You can put in, lines or whatever you want here. And it's just simply a matter of asking the different sizes. Some of you did this in one line in your code, and I don't love that in this case. Okay. It's a stylistic issue. So I think in this case, if you were at a coffee shop and you were placing orders or whatever, you'd want to be asked, separately, I think. Okay. So I'm going to ask how many small coffees. Okay. Space. I'm going to CN. Oh, I don't have those variables yet. Okay. So we need some variables. Okay. So let's call these local variables because they are to this function. Okay. And I'm going to call this int local S equal 0. We don't always, I mean, you should always initialize. You don't normally have to, but again, I've seen cases that doesn't work. So we're going to go ahead and do it. Okay, int local M, int local L. And these are how many are in this order. Okay, so I'm going to cin then that local S. Okay, I'm then going to cut and somehow get the euro symbol. Okay, put a space there just so we can see. And then I'm going to ask for how many medium coffees, which is going to go to local M. And then how many large coffees, which is going to go to local L. Okay. So that's all the data input we need. So now we can print out the ticket. Okay. Actually, if you want, we can, let's calculate our totals first. And you have an option here. We can have, no, I think I'm gonna do the math. I think I'm gonna do the math inside. I think we can do that okay. We may want, I don't know. This is, I'm of two minds here. Okay, so maybe it's better to get those costs. Okay, so we could have a double to hold, let's say SC for it's the small cost for the order. Set it equal to 0, 0, and then do a double for MC is equal to 0, 0, and then a double LC is going to be 0, 0, and then a double for order total. So we can calculate those as well. That'll make our printout a little cleaner. Okay, so let's go here and calculate the ticket costs. Okay, because I want to have a line item here. Okay, so my SC is going to be equal to the number, my local S multiplied by S cost, which is my global variable. Okay. And I can easily copy this and paste it for the other two. The tab will clean those up. MC, we want LC, and that's times M cost, L cost. And again, that's the advantage of all capitals. It's that we know those are constants. Okay. And then I have my order total. It's going to be equal to SC plus MC plus LC. Okay. I can now, in fact, we can go ahead. Let's go ahead and update the totals, total cups sold while we're at it. Okay. And that's going to be the variables we pass in at the top here. So that's going to be way up here, the total S, total M, and total L. Okay. So here we have our total S equals total S plus, and then I'm calling it locally, my local S. Okay, plus local S. Okay. And if you want a shorthand, you can do a plus equals, does the same thing. Okay. So now I'm not using it in this program, but back in the main, since these are passed by reference, these are actual live changes. Okay. And I can get those taken care of. Okay. And then finally, I can print out my ticket. And this is a matter of how fancy you want to get. So, I mean, you have options here. Okay. The first thing I'm going to need to do, I think in my cout, I'm going to have my fixed and my set precision to 2. Okay, to start off with, which means I have to add IO manip, which I probably didn't. So I need to fix that. Okay, and then I'm just going to say something like order total or order, what I would say. Just say order. Order is good enough. Okay, and then I can put 2 if you want, or 1 should be okay. Okay, so then you may have to play with the spacing. I'm going to keep it simple. I'm just going to say, I'm going to see out, say smalls, and I'm going to go ahead and I can go ahead and put in a couple of tabs there. Okay, and then I'm going to put in the local S, and then I'm missing a quote somewhere. That's weird. I start off. It's unhappy somewhere. Oh, now it's happy. I left off a T. Okay, so I've got smalls. Um, I want to put how many that smalls, the number of smalls, the cost of this. Okay. So for the cost, I've got the total S. No, the cost, I've got the SC. Okay, so I'm gonna print the SC there on that line. If you want, you should be able to put a $sign there. Probably a couple tabs there too. We'll have to see how that looks. I'm not gonna spend a lot of time making it look nice, but that's a general idea. Okay. That will get me, and if I'm making a really dumb error, just we'll figure it out. So sometimes I've watched videos, I'm like, you're making a mistake. But anyway. Mediums. M L, that's an MC, and that's an LC. Okay. And then I can print out a couple tabs, total tab, and then my order total. Okay. And that should do that. That should be that for that. Okay. I may have some issues. We'll go ahead and take a look, see what comes up. I'm gonna do my G++ with my dash wall. Give me all my errors. Okay. There are some warning that I have unused variables. That's fine. So that's in it main. We haven't used total S yet, so that's okay. Not going to worry about that. Um, let's see, unable to find. Now that's really interesting. On 175, 176, 177. Oh, because I've got that MC right. I've got it right up next to it. That's my issue there. Okay, so first issue, I need to make sure that I'm including the IO manip. Okay, and then down here, and again, Control V goes down. Page at a time. I think I need those there. If that fixes the errors. Misspelled double on line 19. And those are all just warnings, which so we okay. So I'm gonna go ahead and run this. I haven't changed my menu. I'm not going to. I think this is option 2 does this. Oh, I didn't actually call. Okay. That's a thought. So to at least test this, and I don't think I'm going to do all of these. Okay. So what's really going to happen here is I'm going to call the cell coffee. And it needs the int star s, the int, not int star, int ampersand total s, total m, and int ampersand total l. Okay. I think that's what it's called with. Let's see if that is in fact what it's called with. Got that. Oh, you don't do it that way. See, I saw you guys doing it too, and I just joined in the club. I don't when I'm calling the function, and I went too far. When I'm calling the function, I don't have to give the types. That's just silly. But we all do silly things. So all I have to do here is just send the variables. It knows through the function prototype what those are. And that's why it was giving me weird colors. Okay, let's try it now. Now we're good. Now we've even dealt with the warnings now because we're using that. Okay. So I think it was 2 that does that. That didn't change it. Let's see what we did now. Oh, I made it 1. In this case, it doesn't matter. Yeah, we'll roll with that. I'm just trying to give you an idea how this works and how you should plan it. So if I run it and do item 1, I want 1 small, 2 mediums, and 3 larges. And that doesn't look awful. My dollar sign's messed up, but we could fix that. But if you go through and calculate, I think that I remember from before that is a correct calculation. Okay. So we've got 1, 2, 3. When we get to the option, so let me go ahead and want to go back into this with our next option. And this is the only one I'm going to do is this next one, I think. So I think once we get, it's the long video anyway. Once we get to the coffee sold by cup, we should have the basic idea of what we want. Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and change this one. No, I'm going to change menu that actually says what we're doing. So for me, I've got 1 being here, sell coffee, and this is wrong for the program, but it doesn't really matter. And this is going to be sold by cups. Okay. We'll just have those 2 that we're going to have working. Okay. So that means I'm next going to work on, go way back up here, the coffee sold by cup. Okay. So I'm going to copy that one, going to control V down to the end. Okay. Going to yank that back. That should be my start. Okay. So this one, it takes in total cups sold in small, medium, and large. And it prints out these totals. Okay. This wouldn't necessarily have to be in its own function, but it said to, and it does keep the int main clean. Okay. So as far as local variables go here, we're going to need a total, int total. We can call it total cups to avoid other totals we may have in the program. Okay. Oh, just a 0. Okay. And then calculations are pretty easy. Total cups is going to be equal to total S plus total M plus total L. Okay. Then again, I'm going to print results. Okay. So I can start off just cups sold by size, whatever you want to say there. Okay. And again, I'm going to do 2 end lines there just to Can look a little nicer. Then I'm going to see out small, put say three tabs. Then I'm going to put total S. I'm going to put, that's it. That's all we need. So just an indel. Okay. Then again, I can copy, paste that. Medium, large. My total M. It's my total L. And then one more where I'm going to do a couple tabs before. So I'll do 2 tabs there. Say total, 1 tab there. Hopefully that all works out. If not, I'm not going to worry about it now. And then my total ups is there. Okay. No return there, so that shouldn't be a problem. Um, that should work. Okay. That should do what we need it to do. Okay, so we can go ahead and run it now. Let's see. Want to make sure that my menu. Oh, I changed the menu, so that's okay. What I need to change now is where it actually calls it here. So for menu item 2, okay, and that we're calling that coffee sold by cups, and it takes those totals. Okay, so that's we're going to get rid of that. Let's say coffee sold by cup. So cup or cups? We'll see. We've got total S, we've got total M, we've got total L. Those are sent to that. Okay. Go make sure that is spelled correct. It's cup and not cups by cup. Okay. So let's be crazy and go ahead and try this. Compiling it. Gonna run it. Okay. Let's sell coffee. Let's do a 1, 2, 3. We get that same number. That's fine. Okay. And now if I look at sold by cups, it should do 1, 2, 3 for a total of 6. Okay. So I'm gonna sell some more coffee. I'm gonna do 1, 2, 3 again. Same total. Okay. And I'm going to then look sold by cups, and it's now 2, 4, 6 for a total of 12. Okay. So that part looks like it's working. Okay. Again, you would want to have more involved testing, but that's the basic idea. Okay. So then the others become relatively straightforward as well. So for the coffee sold in ounces, it's going to look pretty much like what we just did, but we're going to have to multiply those totals by the number of ounces and then get a total ounces. And the money made is going to look very similar to the ones in ounces, and then we're going to take those amount of cups sold from each size, multiply that by the price, total up the money. Okay, and that should do it. Okay, so hopefully this video will help you to understand how to put together a program like this. Okay. So I think the other videos I'm going to try to do today are one on the triangle enumeration program, and then one on using the substring. So hopefully I'll get those done in the next day or so. Okay. If you have questions, make sure that you let me know.